you so much for joining us again for the follow-up Q&A session with Shamus Hart, UX designer and the Hart of CARA PR. So as many of you were on our brainstorm, not the most recent one, but the one prior, Shamus gave us an extensive presentation on UX design and how UX design is helping businesses and companies save hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, based on using data and psychology and research to streamline their ideas and basically proof of concept before investing in developing out those products, those ideas, those services, etc. And so we had some incredible feedback on the presentation. So thank you, Shamus, for giving us such an in-depth view of what UX design is, what it's not, and how it fits into the business to brand plan. How's your week been so far? I just went
crazy busy, just sorting out a whole heap of stuff. It just seems as though it's death by 1,000 paper cuts, but I think that's everyone else.
Yeah, yep. And we've had some really wild weather, like there's, oh my God, like we're already 5 weeks into the school term and it feels like it just went like that. So I know that this year's going to be a wild year. Lots of changes happening in the business landscape, lots of people really needing to relook at how they do their business to make it work smarter and to block out that noise. And that's where CARA PR come in to help you with your user experience to fortify your business and your value proposition for the customer and the journey that they go on. So without further ado, from the questions that we received, and there were plenty, we've chosen the top 5 questions that people ask about UX design off the back of Shamus's presentation. So Shamus, the first question that we got through, well, one of the most common and the best questions that is going to support our audience is, I paid for a gorgeous website, but now I'm scared to touch it and it still doesn't sell. How do you assess whether the issue is design, structure, or the journey underneath?
Oh, it's an interesting one. It always comes back to good UX process and good UX practice. So it's about understanding the customer, so who you're actually designing a website for. You're also looking at what the journey looks like, so from start to end. So a customer comes along, looks at your product, jumps onto the website and pays, and it's understanding those friction points and also those value statements within the end-to-end process. It's a really common problem where someone's either designed something that looks amazing, but doesn't really fulfill the needs. So there's things like call to action. Are these explicit? So it can be anything from, the correct language on it. Other websites that I've come across in the past is that they've designed the wrong product for the wrong demographic. So it looks fantastic, but the people who are buying it are not going there. So this is more of a CRO issue. So wondering what that conversion rate optimization is. The other flip side of it is that you may have put way too much information in there. So this is a structural issue. So this can be sorted, and this is a really common problem that I see with website designs. A business has all these products and all these messages that they want to do, and they put it all on the website, where something as simple as a card sort can help this out. And this is where you actually put all the things that you want on the website and you group them together correctly. And so you're creating an axiomic look on kind of where everything fits within your website structure. It's something that is so simple and often forgotten. It also gives your story a really nice narrative, especially in a web interface. So it's giving the groups of where things are supposed to go and that nice flow. That's one that's usually like a huge one that you can sort out, and it's a matter of like grouping and getting rid of a lot of the duplications and the multiple entry points. So what you're trying to do is streamline it. The other thing that they're often missed as well is looking at like, let's say, a design point of view, is that they've validated it internally. So they've picked a design that they really like. The marketing team already know, the business development, the owners really love. But the flip side is they haven't actually tested this with customers. So you may know your product inside and out, but a customer doesn't. And it's why it's so important to go out and talk in a qualitative sense to understand what they're getting out of the website. Really 5 very small things. It's talking to the customer, grouping things together in a logical manner, where a lot of the time it's missed when you're just trying to cover all of the different aspects of your brand or website. Number 3 is looking at that service design aspect. So this is that end-to-end process. So it's like where a customer starts, where they end. There's number 4, which is around personas and archetypes of behavior. So this is understanding what they're there, what their pain points are, what their gain points are. The other thing as well is looking at the design aesthetics and language that you've also picked. It's really an alignment question, and this is again something circles back where you've really got to talk to your customers. If you're not talking to your customers, you're not doing a complete UX process. You're in actual fact missing out a very complete part of your business.
Yeah, I mean, it seems so logical, but at the same time, how do you navigate talking to your customers if you're a newer business that hasn't got official customers yet?
It's one of the most common questions, and that's why there's 2 very useful tools to work with. So there's, first of all, is mapping out the service design aspect of it. So this is can be a simple flow chart. I've done plenty of them with on a whiteboard with post-it notes and just write out the different parts of the journey. This will actually give you archetypes within the journey. So key moments of the journey that you can actually say there's archetypical behavior for it. So if you think of it like going to McDonald's and ordering, there's parts of the journey where I turn up, I stand on the queue. That's a bit of a pain. So the way that McDonald's, for instance, has addressed that one is with apps and with those screens.
Yeah.
The other part was going to the ordering my burger and making sure, like, I can get a burger, but if it's not the right burger I want, it's not going to be a great experience. And also it's about knowing what those customers who are ordering, what they want. So if I'm going to Macca's for, let's say, filet mignon, I'm not going to get it. So there's no point of me marketing to someone who's looking for that. And that's really understanding the archetypes, which goes into the next piece of work that they don't look at, is the personas. And this is understanding who your customer is, what their gripes are, what their success metrics are, what they like to do, a lot of the patterns of behavior. And your best bet is to start with a guess, because you can actually validate these fairly effectively. So there's some amazing online platforms like Askable. you can also just go out, and I have done this before. So when I was launching a weather app about 15 years ago, we were running around Harbourside with a clipboard and with 20 questions on, would you use it? What's missing from it? What do you need to do? So it's not hard to do. And a lot of the times when you go out and talk to the customers, you'll get a cluster of behaviors. So you don't have to talk to a lot of people. You just, I mean, Nielsen says between 7 and 10. And what I find is you just go out, talk to them, you get some great insights. That's how I got the insight on the tomato sauce. Just talking to 5 customers, they're like, well, you know, I've got to pay for sauce, you know, screw that. I'll go down to somewhere else that's going to pay it. So it's really valuable. And there's also online services like Askable, where you can actually type in the demographics that you want to speak with and quickly and easily test a survey, test a design with. So before you actually even build your website, you could just get a 1-page design, put it into Askable, and they will come back with your, based upon your demographic choices and funneling questions, you can get some really great answers on what works, what doesn't, and what are the behavioral whys to make it a better product. And, you know, it's something that, you know, under $1,000 you can test.
Yeah.
It's not expensive.
Priceless compared to the hundreds of thousands that you could invest and then lose and then have to start again because you've designed potentially the right product but for the wrong people, or the wrong product and for the wrong people, you know? So, like, it's not just the product design, but then it's the marketing and all the energy that goes into that. So, yeah, that's a really valid point. I loved that. Thank you for giving us that detail. And also I really resonate with that, because I also remember when I was building my first website, I felt like, oh, I've got to put lots of information about all these things. And especially being a person who talks a lot, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to talk all about this and I'm going to talk about that and rah, rah, rah. And then in the end, when I was doing my brand strategy course, and I had to go through all the different levels, it specifically said in there, people are not going to your website to read it like a novel. You don't need to have that much information in there. And the more time they spend reading through this novel is, you know, like, our attention rate is so minuscule now. If it's like I think it's like 2.3 seconds, isn't that right?
It's crazy on the websites. It's like, and that's why lighter pages actually do a lot better from a conversion point of view. Because less things, you're not getting decision like you don't get the decision paradoxes where it's like too many choices, don't know what to do. You're also beating the loading problem. So you're making a lighter website, which means it's going to get your message out there a lot faster. And especially on mobile, huge difference. That's another really valid point there.
So the next question that we had was from one of our participants, and it reads, my brand is Luxe Editorial, but I worry UX best practice will make it look like everyone else. So how do you balance uniqueness with clarity so that it stays premium and converts?
That's actually a really common question, and it's something that's across all kind of UX problems that I've come across. It's really a research-based question that you're asking. So UX doesn't make everything look the same. It's more about understanding the problem statement, so what you're trying to solve and what solution your customer is looking for. So it's about alignment of values opposed to actually making it look like identical to another brand out of there. You're also, with good UX practice, so research, you know, even shadowing users, what you're doing is you're understanding their behavioral needs, and you're also understanding what they're actually trying to do. So that's where you're getting the differing point from. You're actually understanding and, you know, scratching that itch in the person's brain. So it's, when you think about it, there's so many burger places out there. This is the best analogy that I can think of. So many burger places out there, but there's only one Whopper and there's only one Big Mac. So, you know, they're not really crossing over on people's domains, although if you think of it from a philosophical point of view, they're both kind of the same. The burgers are kind of the same, but it's the different types and aligning those types to your customers' tastes. That's where that's where a lot of the really good UX process actually kicks in. It's understanding what they want and what outcomes they're trying to deliver. All you're doing is just making it a lot easier for them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do. Like, I remember when I first was sort of beginning to understand UX, and the simplest explanation to me was, you know, the speed from finding out about you to getting what they want and exchanging money, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, no, I love that, and yeah, it's such a, again, another really crucial element, making sure that, you know, you're going with the best practices, but of course you don't want to lose yourself in following that sort of pattern. So yeah, and I again remember in building the website and having those templates, you know, like I just thought I could have made it easy for myself and followed the template, which was obviously had its own sort of UX in there, but I didn't want to look like everybody else. So that was a big thing for me. But in doing that, I definitely made it trickier for people to understand what was in there and how to go from, you know, discovering the website and then to like booking in an appointment, and had way too many call to actions and all this other stuff. So anyway, thank God for Shamus.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of the times it's really understanding what the customer wants. So many times you go through and you realize that with researchers that the customers that you're looking for are not necessarily the ones who you're providing service to now. And it's also understanding what their behaviors and needs are. So it's answering questions that I think a lot of people overlook.
Yeah, indeed. Righty, who? The next question is from one of our participants who says, I'm losing people at checkout/booking, and I can't tell why. What are some of the most common and tiny friction points that cause silent drop-off?
Oh, this is a good one. This I could actually do like a whole hour lesson on, but what you're in essence talking about is a thing called CRO, which is conversion optimization. So it's, you're talking about optimizing the people who are going through the process to basically up sales. And for let's say big e-commerce sites, huge problems with leakage. So they're looking at very small numbers, which make huge difference to their bottom line. For smaller businesses, it's still a problem around conversion. And when you think about it, the difference between CRO and SEO is the simplest way of thinking. One's a shotgun, the other one's a sniper rifle. So one's very, very precise. So some of the tools that we use to optimize conversion flows is when it's all up and running, A/B testing. So do multivariant testings with people in there, and then whichever one's getting the better conversion rate, that's what we keep, and then that's what we modify. But many times there's also structural problems with your shopping cart. So common ones that I've seen is technical problems where a person can't technically go further than it is. So it might be something around your payment gateway, or it might take you out of the flow, so they're not clicking back to it. It may be completely unclear language on the website, so they're not really sure where they are. So this is a very different thing. part of the reason, if you're not doing A/B testing, because A/B testing is one of those things when you actually have kind of the high level understanding of what are your customers doing, why, you can actually refine it. A lot of businesses, especially smaller businesses I've worked with, have completely missed that first stage out, which is actually talking to the customer, going out, showing them the conversion flow, actually asking them, like putting let's say a help chat in there, or putting at the end of your service, how did you find the checkout process? That usually gives you some great insights about what's going wrong.
Yeah.
Another technical problem that a lot of people have with shopping carts is postage and handling. Huge one is, especially when you're on small carts,
Yeah.
is people will go, Abercrombie and Fitch did an amazing bit of research on this, and what they saw was they've got their packaging thing. They worked out that they could up their cart a lot higher if they actually threw in free shipping over $150. So
Yeah.
instead of buying a pair of jeans, you're buying a pair of jeans plus a shirt. So you've just added more in there. And what they've done is they've said free shipping over that amount, because when you think about it, you're going $30 for shipping on, $100 cart. I may as well just pay $20 extra and get a free shirt with it. So
Yeah.
you're actually increasing their spend. A lot of this as well, it's because people are not actually talking to the customers. So a lot of these are assumptions. So it could be anything from, and this is a common behavior. I do this. I think everyone else does, that you go shopping, you buy something online, and then you go see if you're getting the best price. So you've got a full shopping cart, and then you compare it to all the others, and then you run it through Honey, and then you can see what coupons you've got.
Yeah.
So there's a multitude of problems with carts, but the first place you want to be is talking to your customer and understanding what they're trying to do on there. Are the prices right? Can I actually read it? That's another huge problem with accessibility.
Yeah.
Another one as well, it could be payment gateway problems, like it could be a rejection on a payment gateway, or it could be errors on the page. So it could be technical problems as well. But
Yeah.
until you're actually talking to your customers, a lot of these are assumptions. So your best bet is put all those assumptions on there and work out if group them out, if they're technical, if they're part of the aesthetic design, or if they're part of the overall conversion process, or if they're technical with how you've built your system, or the final one is just going out and seeing, is it a customer problem?
Yeah.
It can be a whole menagerie of things.
Yeah. One of the things that really annoys me when I'm online shopping is either you see something, you like it, and it says one price, and then you go to like the cart page, and then it just adds on like another 120 for shipping and currency conversion, and then you got to wait for 2 weeks or something like that. So that's another thing that I know personally really gets to me is if, like, I was, for example, I was getting a rabbit hutch for my, God rest her soul, bunny Gray, and I was comparing all these different places and the cost of this bunny hutch, and what the dimensions were and safety features and all this other stuff. And so the best price that I found was like, let's say $150. But then when I went to like the shipping and that, then it was like another $70 on top of that. So I thought, oh no, this is going to be a good one. But then when it got to like the shipping and handling, it ended up being like 250, whereas all the other places were like, oh, it's 250, and that includes like shipping and handling. So I thought I was getting a better rate, and then in the checkout process, it ended up being the same, or more actually. And then the third bit to that was, well, what is like your guarantee policy that I'm going to, like, you know, if I get this product, that it's actually going to be, you know, what I've paid for, because that
Oh,
was,
the Temu effect.
yes.
It's like, yeah, it's like I love the Reddit on Temu where it shows you what people thought they got and what they actually got instead. And that's another problem as well with a lot of smaller e-commerce providers. It's around one of the things that a lot of them are missing out is testimonials.
Yeah.
Where they'll see this great product, it's a very small business, and it's the, if I buy from this, will I actually get what I'm wondering. And it could be as simple as of adding some Google reviews to it, or adding something that has real user validation.
Yeah.
Another mistake that I've seen with people is don't ever buy reviews or start reviewing your own product. Huge problem. Users can always find it very quickly, and I've seen tons of it. It's just,
Yeah.
it's really funny, but it's, you know, a really small thing like that, that proof point, as you've said, like, what am I getting?
Yeah, yeah. I remember as well buying maternity clothes when I was pregnant, and you know, the photo on Temu, like the false advertising of it was just soul destroying. It looked so beautiful and like high end, and then I got it, and I was like, yuck! This is like the cheapest digital print. The, like, I'm pretty sure the sewing was even coming undone. It was paper thin. I'm pretty sure you would have been able to see everything through it. And I would have looked like, I don't know, like some kind of toilet roll cover. It was so bad. And there's a lot of that, you know, like, again, we've done some posts about this through CARA PR LinkedIn page and also Facebook page, about trust being such an expensive commodity, because
Yeah.
it can take a lifetime to build and 1 second to break.
Exactly. And it's one of those things. It's like, that's why part of the reasons that you need those multiple levels of authentication, especially that indirectly tie into, let's say, conversion. And that's why keeping the socials up accurate and, you know, fairly well maintained is a huge one. Quality pictures make a huge difference, and no, not the AI ones as well, that huge problem. And also keeping, like, you know, testimonials on products, you know, get people to actually, you know, post about it as well. I've seen a lot of retailers lately QR code, and it's like, love what the product is, post it up here for a chance to win, you know,
Holiday.
yeah, holiday, or here's, you know, write us a review and you get, you know, free shipping next time. You
Yeah.
know, you're engaging them to the next one,
Yeah.
and you're effectively helping your brand based upon real customers' experience,
Yeah.
where they can go in there and, you know, it's pretty common a thing to do now.
Yeah. Do you recall there was a point in time where a lot of people were doing that scan the QR code, and Google was penalizing people for having like 20 reviews in one day? Do you remember when that
I
was?
remember that, but the problem with those reviews, a lot of them were, it came out that they were fake. Is that people were buying reviews from overseas and review companies, and, you know, it was pretty obvious that they were faked.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, Google is pretty good with those, and with taking off fake reviews or challenge. And even with a lot of the review store stuff on iTunes and Google Play, they jump onto it fairly quickly. And it's pretty obvious as well. You can just look at the, you know, the reviews to just say, you know, why they're fake. It's like, oh, this is the best thing ever, you know, and you've bought, like, you know, and it's, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah. So on to the next question. My website has pop-ups, too many buttons, too many tabs. I thought more options equals chance to sell, But how do you spot and remove choice overload without losing sales? So that's like an interesting question, but at the same time,
Oh,
I mean, you see that a lot. You know, you go to Ticketek, like to buy a ticket
mm.
or something, and you do get like a win a holiday, and then something at the bottom, and then a subscribe now, and there's a lot of that, and ads that follow you around and flash around your screen. Next minute, there's like porn or something.
Yeah, it's actually a really common problem, and one of the habits that I saw come out with a lot of the online retailers, that they were making a lot of money from putting rocked applications in the end of their process. Oh, enter this, or do you like these projects to get, win a $500 voucher, or you can get this. The problem is that most users are there for a very specific reason. If you're breaking their concentration, they're not going back into the flow.
Mm,
So every extra step you make, or extra boundary, you're reducing your conversion rate optimization by a significant amount. More buttons and more choices. There's a great book by William Poundstone who talks about the paradox of choice. And you've just got to think of it like this, is that most people, the way that their cognitive memory works is they can deal with 5 choices plus or minus 2. That's what they're dealing with in a page. The more choices you make in each thing, the more fatigue you're getting, and the more they're just like, screw that, I'm not going to deal with it. So a lot of it, you need to group in the behaviors, and it's things like card sorts do this really well, where you can actually put sort of actions, what you want them to do on that page. So pop-ups are a great way to piss off users, especially on mobile, because it's putting a physical barrier in the page I'm trying to get into. It's why you will see a huge exit rate if you've got a massive takeover pop-up. I get this all the time. They go in deep link pages to a product, and it goes, join up and give me your email and I'll give you $5 off the. And it's like, I haven't even looked at your page yet. So why are you doing that?
Timu does it a lot.
Oh, it does. That you can't get past the slide,
Wheelie turning.
the wheel thing. You have to do it like 5 times, and it's like, it's ridiculous. And it's like, pop-ups are fantastic if they're used within the right concept. But a lot of people go, we've got this great offer and we've got to tell them. And it's like, no, you need to design your conversion flow correctly to put that up in the right point. So if you think of it like this, Expedia does it very well with upselling travel insurance. They don't tell you about it. They give you a couple of points where you can actually get it. And they do it like right at the end of the process, where tick, I can add insurance to it.
Yeah.
Or they also hit me after and say, you didn't get travel insurance. Would you like to get it? I don't go, oh, wow, the Shangri-La at Bangkok looks awesome. I click on it. I get a thing and buy. Oh, by the way, you need to buy insurance now. That would have a high exit rate. So you basically adding those extra steps and extra things that I need to do. You're just killing your conversion. You're better off adding those other steps after in the process, or naturally signaling in the right point of view. And I've worked with quite a few smaller places where they've had some amazing offers, and they've put it towards the end of the journey. So it's not a pop-up. So it's like, oh, by the way, would you like this add-on product for X amount? They haven't put it at the start. I've already committed into it. And there's an interesting thing around a completionist mindset, is that the most successful cart journeys I've seen are about 5 to 7 steps tops. And any more than that, it's like you just get fatigue. I want to do it. But there's also the other thing, is you want to put enough effort into it so they want to complete it.
Yeah.
So if I So if I do 3 steps, psychologically, I have to close that loop.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to do the extra 2 loops, the 2 steps to complete that process. Even if I don't really want it, there's part of the brain that goes, I kind of need to do that. It's a completionist mindset. I've done 60% of it, so I need to actually convert on it. If you're adding extra buttons, extra messages, extra things in there, a chance to sell, you're actually losing your chance to sell. Because once you've got someone purchased once, they're happy with the purchase, you can also do upsell and suggestions, let's say through your newsletters, through other means, or when you send the product, you can actually, put an offer in there that they're like, oh wow, this is really cool.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a tricky one sometimes.
Yeah. But I was going to ask you for some good examples, but you just gave that example of Expedia, and then the other examples that come to mind that we see and hear every day is like Macca's. Would you like fries with that? Or on a Coke, do you want to upsize for $1? It's doing it at the right stage, and what level of, I suppose, add-on or sort of laddering, upselling.
It's a lot of the upselling, and it's a lot of it as well. So if you look at Amazon does it always pretty well with suggestions. Like they group a lot of the items. They go, oh, you've bought this book. These are the other books in the series. Or they'll do some other parallel things. So you buy the Harry Potter book and they've got, oh, by the way, there's all this Harry Potter Lego. Like they do the cross sell and all that sort of stuff. Or the other thing that is really popular as well as the reverse discount, which a lot of startups I've seen do. Fantastic idea where they've got let's say a planter. They're going to sell it from when they're official from June for $200, but at the moment it's $129. And if I buy it now, I get it for that cheaper rate where it's going to go up to that other price. So it's part of it is understanding the right messaging. Because you don't need to give people lots of choice. You just need to give them enough choice. And the best example of choice from William Poundstone's book is perfumeries. So have you ever noticed, like a good example is Versace brings out a mainstay and then they bring out 2 others. So they have a choice of 3. So they've got the original, which is, let's say $100. And then they have 2 smaller ones that are more expensive, that seem more premium. They kind of smell the same, but a little bit same, but different. You're giving them that choice. So you've got the value matrix. So if I've already bought the big bottle for 100 mils for $100, well, now I've got to buy this one. And it's 130, but it's only 75 mils. And then now I've got these 2. So I need to complete the set with the third one. It's like, it's purely genius. It is genius. And a lot of them is giving the right choice within context, because too much choice causes choice paralysis. You can't lock it down. It just, the brain just goes, no, not doing it.
Too hard. Too hard, too scary.
Too hard, too scary.
That was awesome. So then the last question that we have, and we'll try and answer this one quite quickly so we can give people back the rest of their
absolutely.
Is people tell me that they love my product, but they still don't purchase. So where do you usually find the disconnect? Is it the offer, the proof, the journey, or is it friction?
Oh, this is a great question. Usually it's you haven't defined your personas or your archetypes right. So you've actually got this great product, but you're not positioning it to the right people. And this is where a lot of the times you've got to go out and test with customers, because they're going to tell you, like, liking it and using it are 2 different things. What they're going to do is they're going to tell you how they would actually use it, what is their pricing point on it, why they would or wouldn't use it, if they would recommend it. And there's tons of examples of these type, products where they've haven't actually like marketed to the right people, where they've just like brought up a product and then it's managed to, do something completely different. Like, I mean, that sponge thing that's gone crazy, the smiley sponge cleaner. I forget the name of it. It's like this yellow sponge with a smiley face, and it's like a really
Oh, is
durable.
it like Enyo or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's called that. So originally, what they were selling it to was they were selling it to like a completely different like range. They were looking for industrial kitchens and all that, and they were not interested. It was the people at home, you know, purchasing it, you know, who were kind of the mum and dad cleaners and that,
Right, yeah.
which was huge, but that they were just marketing it to the wrong people. It's also the same with Levi jeans. Great example of it is that Levi Strauss originally was buying canvas and selling it for stagecoaches and other things, but his problem was that the canvas that he bought was too thin. So he had an oversupply of it, so he ended up turning it into pants. And that blew up. So it, like, when he worked out that they weren't strong enough for what he wanted, but he did make some very rugged pants that everyone was buying. That's really a usability problem. It's working out like who your customer actually is and why they're doing it. It's, if they say they like it, liking isn't the same. I have a behavioral reason I can use your product. There's so many examples of it through history.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of I was watching Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't remember if it was Shark Tank or it was another similar show, but there was a lady who had invested her life savings into designing these testy coolers.
Yes. Oh my God.
Cubes in there. And she's like, oh, for men, overweight men who get too hot, sometimes. And I was just like, oh my God.
It's like,
And
why would you do that? Yeah.
the funny thing is though, I was looking online around Christmas time at gifts to get, for some of my friends that are male, like older, they have everything. So really the only thing that you could get them would be something trivial or just something that was just a nice little thought. And I actually saw these testicles have come into the market, not this lady's custom made home knitted that you just slide the ice cubes in and that doesn't.
It's like it's a problem that's like no one's thought of. It's like but I mean, there's so many examples of it where someone's designed a product and then they find a completely different use for it. I mean, the brand, the luxury brand Coach.
Yes.
So they started off doing basically sporting goods and equipment for stagecoaches, and it just became, when they got a couple of bad shipments of leather, it was like too thin for what they were using. They ended up turning it into ladies' handbags, and that just went crazy. There's a like a ton of different ones, even anecdotally, like Davidoff, the brand, started with cigars, and what people don't remember is it started off with cigars and cognac. They moved into the aftershave, which they're more known for now, and that was just purely because they found out that, like, smoking cigars can be really smelly. We need to cover the smell of it. So, like, there's a couple of anecdotal stories about that's how they kind of went into aftershave for men.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's crazy when you think about it. Again, they were understanding, they had a product that people were buying, and they understood the behaviors, and it's like, oh, okay, this is complementary. It doesn't seem complementary, but they've understood the end-to-end journey. They've had a bunch of cigars with some friends. They smell like a cigar.
Yeah.
Here's Davidoff to cover it up.
Yeah. No, that's really good. I love that. We should do a session on that as a follow-up. Brands who have done a pivot based on the user experience data. I think there's because this is one of the things, right? In 2019, when COVID was rife, so many businesses either went out of business or had to do a major pivot, and it was just such a testing time for everyone. But something that good old Tony Robbins preaches is that the stress that we face now is not bigger than the stress that the cavemen faced. It's just different. It just shows in a different form. So if we can overcome stress and get more used to the stress and be at one with the stress and the storm, we can find new and creative ways to empower ourselves to do the pivot, to streamline the business process, to optimize the customer journey, to redesign the product, and to recalibrate and relaunch your business. Doesn't matter where you're at, as long as you're able to look back at the data and allow us to really interrogate that data and walk through that customer journey with you and that user experience, we can always set a business straight. So I think they're the main things about UX design and Brandstorm. Being at one with the storm. There's always going to be storms. They're coming from all angles until the end of time, but there's no point in trying to fight the storm. We just got to be at one with the storm, and that's why.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Shamus, so much for your insight and your wisdom. Super excited always to hear the in-depth analysis, and you just make the information so easy to digest and to understand in real life, real world examples in business. So thank you as always, and thank you to everyone who is watching this live from their computer or their phone. We will be back with another Brandstorm in a week's time. So if you have any further questions, feel free to email them into us. And also, see if I can I wanted to put up you'll find the link on our website if you'd like to book in a 45-minute discovery call to work out where it is in your business that you can do a little bit of CPR so that you can be at one with the storm. So over and out for now. Have an amazing afternoon, everyone. Keep on keeping on. You are amazing, and the world needs what you have. So just keep going. See you soon. Thanks, Shamus.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.